first step is develop at least a small site, and you can initially monetize it using Google AdSense or using AdMob, something like that. So when you get some traffic, some of the traffic will click on the advertising, you'll get some revenue. To some extent, at least for me, some people that's as far as they go, and you know, over time, I guess they do pretty well. And in some cases, you hear about people that make a lot of money. For me, that's kind of just a first step, because for instance, that name or a lot of other names have much more potential than that. So in the case of, I also have liquor.mobi, for instance. In the case of liquor.mobi, and that I set up before wine.mobi. I put in a database of liquor stores all around the United States, and that type of thing is actually really inexpensive to buy that database. So that went from the first step, which is just to put a tiny mini site, to one where someone can type in, for instance, a zip code, or I guess it's a city, and then they can find out where the liquor stores are located. Or in this case, with the wine, what I've done so far is I got a database. I didn't want to go like with wine stores, you know. So I bought a database that's related to like wineries, a little more specialized, a little more high end, because I want to go in that direction. I think the name has the potential to do that. I years ago set up an eBay account, which most people do, and years ago I set up a PayPal account. Setting up like an AdMob account or an Google AdSense account is really as simple as setting up an eBay account or a PayPal account. So that part of it's really simple. Anybody can just set up the account. There's not much to qualify for it or anything like that. Then what happens is that you basically you kind of set up channels. So the channels would be, let's say that you have 10 websites, or in this case 10 Mobi sites or whatever, and the channels are just going to be whatever you want to call them, 1 through 10, or A, B, C, D, E, F, or you might say wine and liquor and so on and so forth. And then you're just going to tell the little system online to give you the code, and it's going to give you maybe like 5 lines of code, and basically you're going to copy and paste that into your site. So either I'm going to copy and paste that little bit of code, or the person who's helping me build the site is going to copy and paste a little bit of code, and that's it. And then the neat part about it is that 24 hours a day, when you're sleeping, awake, or whatever, or in this case, I can just go and check my account anytime, and the account, that is the Google AdSense account or the AdMob account, or I'm sure there's some other companies out there that are doing similar things. Will show you how much traffic you've had, and then it'll show you how many of those people have clicked through, and then sometimes you make a penny, and sometimes you make, on a click, $1.50, and hopefully it adds up. It's search engine optimization. It's all about search. It's all about the people's behaviors. They use the search engines. And so the reason why someone would get a generic domain name, whether it be a .com or a .mobi, is because people are going to be searching for those things. So I do read about people, like again on the forums I read about people who try some little advertising campaigns, and I think they do work well, and I think they're still pretty inexpensive to do it for a mobile site, but just like any business, if you can keep your expenses down, then you either have margins or have bigger margins or something like that. And if you if you have a generic domain name, a generic Mobi name, and you build a site with good content, and you follow the basics of search engine optimization, then you can get traffic, and that model's really not dependent upon advertising. So that's part of the beauty of the web, is that it's Google or whatever doesn't have to go out and advertise, and Amazon really doesn't have to advertise, and if people are searching for a specific book, they're going to go on and search for it and find it. So the whole kind of model, to me, doesn't really require advertising. It kind of almost defeats the purpose. If you're going to spend a whole bunch of money to advertise something, why not just put a phone number or an address, and then you're going to drive your traffic to call that business or to walk in the door. With the web, They're going to find it through the search engines, and then you're going to show them what you're offering. I think there are good names available, and I kind of missed the ability to buy good names back in 1996. I had to, for my business, rely on names that are average names, pretty good names, and you make the best of it. But when Mobi came along, that was an opportunity. All these great names were available. So I was able to buy names like ballet shoes and tennis shoes and liquor and wine and website designer and names like that. A lot of those names are still available. I mean, this is new.